Welcome to a guide for the factory-approved mission challenge for the Sand Scorpion Car 98K. There's nothing too complicated to cover here, but that's not to say it's easy. This might be the hardest blue rarity weapon in the game, and I do have some tips here and there for it. Starting with what I said in the ribbon challenge video, maybe the most important thing to be thinking about, it makes sense to be pairing this mission with the officer challenges that make you do similar things. There's one for 50 IAV kills, 25 APC kills, and most importantly, running over 50 people. The mission is going to have you running over 10 and then 30 more in a later step, so I'd strongly recommend having this equipped while you're going for the ribbon crushing kills. Assuming you care about doing both, that'll save you a ton of time. On to step 1, don't need to say much here, 50 IAV kills. All you need to know is that yes, the free ones do count, same for the ribbon. You could be earning the streak as well, but there's really no need. Every ground war map has free IAVs, except Ania Palace and I think the Boneyard, which only has APCs. So on any other map, this challenge is no problem, you just gotta grab one, which I find to be pretty easy. At the start, try waiting for the second one to be airdropped in, while everyone else is running towards what's already on the ground, and when that one gets trashed eventually, respawn back at HQ and wait for the new airdrop. People don't seem to care to use them that much anymore with all the pointsman crap fixed, and a lot more people with thermite and launchers these days to counter them, but they are still very powerful. I don't think I need to give any tank tips. Try to keep your distance, but also be pushing up to have line of sight on the forward flags the enemy will likely be spawning on. Spam some random shots into windows. You could very well get the 50 kills in one game, but if it takes a few, no big deal. Maybe the hardest part about this challenge is dealing with the guilt for being a ground war tank abuser. If you need counseling, I'm here for you. I mean, the challenge forces you to. We're not morally responsible if we're just following orders, right? Actually, but there is a ground war mode coming without tanks soon, so everyone who hates them should be off playing that, no worries. Step 2 of the challenge will likely be the hardest, or it could be easy. There is quite a bit of luck involved, running over 10 people with the Little Bird helicopter, which will be counting for that crushing ribbon if you have that unlocked. Annoying problem number 1 here is that only half the maps have a helicopter: the quarry, downtown, and port. You can't get one on the Boneyard, Palace, or Farm, even though there is a dang helicopter in the Farm loading screen. Once you finally get on the right map, you really just have to hope the enemy team has some people sniping on rooftops. I recommend being prepared for frustration. In my first several games, I was having no luck. The enemy team was always pushed up and watching the helicopter spawn area. Even when you get in the air, you can get shot out of it really easily. I tried the thing where you deploy a trophy onto the helicopter to block rockets, but I really didn't find that to be worth the setup time, when bullets were the bigger problem. If you've tried to run over people on the ground before, you'll know it's really dang hard to be skimming along the ground without getting wrecked from somewhere, and if you're a bit higher and try to descend, it's really slow. Even if you wanted to kamikaze into the ground, you can't seem to do that fast enough. And did the helicopters get weaker, or is that my imagination? I thought at launch I could be banging about, hitting things with the rotors, but now if they so much as touch a pole with a little ting, no second chances. Jesus. You basically have to camp the helicopter spawn, because I found I was usually competing with my team, who were eager to be grabbing it too. One time I felt bad for not staying to pick a guy up like I normally would if I weren't on a suicide mission, and he shot at me to come back. My damn guilt was my weakness, because I knew there was no time to wait around there. Let that be a lesson. Never be nice to anyone. It's your helicopter. Everyone else can get bent. Well, that's a lot of the bad stuff you'll be dealing with, unless you just get lucky with some rooftop snipers, as I said. They are the easy pickings you're on the lookout for. In theory, I would think the Tovorsk district map would be the best, with all the rooftops. People are always on those, whether it be the big main 2 or somewhere on the outskirts. Lots of high-rises out there. If you can fly around, sneak up behind them, and wipe them off the side, that would be ideal. But I could never even get the map to come up. I was only ever getting port or a map with no helicopter. Thankfully, it seemed like spawning on the E side of port was a pretty good recipe for success too, because the helicopter spawn feels more covered and safe, and also the enemy side of the map will have the very open B warehouse roof, a popular spot for snipers to hang out, and I got a lucky game where there happened to be a healthy collection of people up there. I was really trying to see if I could get that guy who was controlling a streak of some kind, when some other person ran straight into the blades, thanks for that. And this I love. Dude shoots me, but leaves the helicopter alone. I spawn on my squad mate who was still on the roof but somehow not shooting the people up there. So I got back in the helicopter and ran them over again. And for the rest of that game, I kept going back to that roof to finish the challenge. From what I understand, the old SBMM isn't as strict in Ground War to help fill lobbies, but that it does exist, and I wonder if the fact that I incidentally spent several games crashing helicopters with 1 or 2 kills per game had anything to do with that lucky lobby. Anyway, in the end, it took about 3 hours of frustration to get 1 kill, and then 1 game to get the other 9. That's where the luck comes in. I don't know if there's much else I can say to help. I hope at least I've given you a good feel for what you're signing up for. Once you're done with that though, you're free to have fun again. Step 3, 50 APC kills, which again can overlap with a ribbon that you unlock later on. Just play any map except Ania Palace, grab that APC, and roll around getting kills. Try to avoid getting in duels with tanks, because if they have any rockets left, they can easily win that fight. But no big deal, you'll be doing some waiting around for the APC to respawn, but there should be no stressing about that challenge. Step 4 is the other, somewhat long one, running over 30 people. That's the important one to be combining with the officer challenge of run over 50 people. I did a lot of talking about this already in that ribbon guide. If you want more detail and examples, you can watch that thing and skip to it with a timestamp. The summary of what I found to be the easiest was hitting people with the Wheelson. You should be on the smallest map playlist you have available at the time, and hardcore is helpful too, partly to avoid hit markers, but mostly so that they don't see you coming on the minimap. Makes it a lot easier to sneak up on people and not get pre-fired around corners. Wheelsons aren't that hard to get with hardline kill chain. You only need 4 kills in the chaos of a small map where skill hardly matters for an airstrike or cluster, and then that can easily get you 2 more. That is still my favorite method for very consistent progress, but there was another idea a few people suggested in the comments last time, playing Infected and trying to get on Ania Palace, because there are ATVs on that map, and I'm sure it would be easier to run over Infected than it is people in Ground War. So that sounds like it could be fun if you like Infected. I figured I'd throw it out there. To me personally, I prefer the Wheelson method just because I like playing the small maps anyway. I'm not big on Infected, and that means I'd probably be leaving lobbies to find the right map. That could take a long time. Then you'd have to hide somewhere with an ATV nearby-ish and hope nobody takes it, because if you drive an ATV somewhere and then get off, it'll blow up after a certain amount of time if nobody gets back on. That's just a mechanic to get rid of old vehicles and respawn them. You also have to hope the Infected do a good job of getting enough people, and then you can finally start driving around and hope to hit a decent amount before getting a throwing knife in your elbow. You could get 0, you could get 20, I don't know. But in the time that setup could take, I think I would have earned a few shipment Wheelsons and have 10 to 15 people run over. But it comes down to what mode you enjoy playing more. If that sounds like fun, give it a try. After that, you're in the clear. The final 2 challenges are easy peasy, especially with the right strategy. Step 5 is destroying 10 vehicles with the APC, and no, you can't just blow up empty ATVs. They didn't only fix that for launchers, they made sure those neutral vehicles count as nothing at all. So the basic way you could make progress on this challenge is charging into battle to take on enemy APCs and tanks. If you lose the fight to a tank that has missiles or you started out behind on health, you can probably still get the kill because of the critical damage phase. Just commit to going down with the ship and disable them back. Or even if you win the fight by maneuvering cleverly or they don't have missiles, good chance you're going to be hurt too bad to win the next fight, and that's pretty slow progress if you only get 1 vehicle destroy per APC spawn. So the big brain play would be to go somewhere really far back in the map and look for a little hill or an object of some kind, ramp yourself up on that to have a full range of motion looking at the sky, and then you can shoot down enemy streaks. They do indeed all count. You can almost always find a spot for this on any map. It ain't too tough. You're gonna want the spotter perk as well, and I think that's a much easier way to fly through this challenge. You're kinda being a dick since the APC is meant to be a mobile spawning point for your team, but then again, might be better to get it done in 1 game with this method, rather than going out and getting every APC blown up for several games. Out of curiosity, I did also test locking onto UAVs with a Pila and then hopping back into the APC before it hit, and that did not count. You do have to shoot the stuff down, but for everything other than UAVs, that's not a problem at all, because even though I think they slowed the turret projectiles down, there's seemingly no drop to worry about, making it pretty easy to destroy a wide range of streaks, from personal radars and CUAVs to VTOLs and even AC-130s. So that's that, and step 6 is the exact same thing, 10 more vehicles, but this time with the IAV, which is a little bit better equipped to be going out and winning vehicle duels. If you're smart with the maneuvering and rockets, you could kill more than one tank in a life. Or you could easily do the same thing, hang out in the back of the map and shoot stuff down. Then you've got step 7, raise hell, and finally step 8 is freedom. You're done. Enjoy your blue rarity sand gun. Totally worth it. Well, maybe not, but if you're doing this stuff for the ribbon challenges anyway, that pretty much covers the hard part, so you may as well. Or if you're just looking for something to do, I don't know. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.